Good day,
Okay.
podcast community. PeteKane here, Podcast Pete, and certified high performance coach. And man, we have a special guest, an entrepreneur, a creator, a person that's on the move. And we were able to get him on the show. So I want you to stay tuned because he's going to be dropping some wisdom bombs on you. So you got to be listening and paying attention. So close your tabs and we're going to have a fun podcast. So, Daryl, for people that don't know you, tell people who you are, what you do, and who you serve, and then we'll get into your story. Oops, I think.
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely. In your podcast today, I'm so excited to talk to your audience and be a part of this. So, yes, my name is Daryl Pickett. I am born and raised in Atlanta, Georgia, and I'm married with one son, 11-year-old Jackson Pickett, and I'm married to my wife, Miss Jasmine Pickett, and we are the owners of iCode Academy, which is a medical billing and training coding school. And we're also the owners of iCode Healthcare Solutions, and that's a revenue cycle management company that employs those students that we teach. And so we're just excited to be here and to be able to share with the audience, our journey, my journey, and, how we got to be entrepreneurs.
I love it. But I want you to, if you could, and I failed to tell you before, can you close any of the tabs that you have open on your computer? Because it is a little bit of a delay and you were freezing a little bit. And usually it's tabs open that slow down the podcast and the stream. So we make sure that they can hear every single word that you share with our community. Okay? Yeah, you're frozen again. So, yeah, just see if that works. Usually it does. Because we always multitask and we have, yes, okay.
Absolutely. Give me one moment.
Okay, awesome. Because our community wants to hear from entrepreneurs. They love them. They're our economy. They making things happen. And boy, we're in some crazy times with AI and people being displaced. And I know people are going to want to know how they can be served by you and your wife and what you guys are doing at iCode Academy. So as soon as you have those closed out, just give me a sign of one and you think you're still frozen. So hopefully we'll get our audio. Thank you for your patience because we want to make sure you can hear from Daryl. Okay. Okay. I can hear the clicking and that's a beautiful sound. It's a beautiful sound when we open up the bandwidth of the podcast.
I'm here.
Okay. All right. I think we're ready to go. So tell me, I'm always curious. The entrepreneurial journey starts with the first step. What was your first step when you decided with Jasmine to start an academy? I mean, that's a major commitment from people to want to put something like this together. Oops. All right. We're okay. I might have to have
Yes.
Jasmine come on. Okay, here we go. Okay. Did you hear my question, Daryl? We're
Hopefully we'll
getting
get
some.
this figured out. But yes, I want to try to jump in here. Okay. I believe so. You wanted to know about the entrepreneurial journey.
Yeah, the
And,
first.
what does that first step look like?
Mm-hmm.
And so for me, that was pretty much my background before being able to launch the company. And it's quite interesting the way our story happened. I met my wife and she wasn't fully currently working in that role. She was doing some admin stuff for some doctor's offices and some healthcare groups, but hadn't quite broken to what she went to school for, which was medical billing. We'll talk a little bit about that. So we had opportunity, and she came to me and was like, "But I launch to this new industry that I have certification for." And it probably was the best decision of her life because she stumbled on to a job that paid her like per chart. And transformation of a doctor's written documentation into numeric or alphanumeric code used reimbursement by the insurance company. Got contract to get some patients' claims. And this particular one, it was a paid by chart claim. So, usually people in the medical coding industry, they would work per hourly, but this one paid per chart. And so she got to work in one day, and her first couple days she may have gotten, and it was $2 a chart. I'll be transparent about that. They were paying $2 a chart. So her first day she may have gotten through 50, 60 charts, which was about $120 for the day. You do the math, and that was 10 years, 12 years ago. So that wasn't necessarily terrible. But the next day she noticed that she was able to increase that to 80, 90 charts for the day. By the end of the week, she was doing 400 or 500 charts a day, right? She was looking at those many records. And it was at that point, neither one of us had ever in our lives made $1,000 in a day. So couples newly with industry that needed to take a closer look.
Hey,
so to speak,
hey, Daryl, let me stop you for just a second.
Story up.
Yeah, we're getting really bad.
Knew that this was going to be a life-changing deal for us. That moment, yes.
We're getting really bad audio. So see if there's other tabs, because we're getting about every other word, which is gonna not give us a good connection with our community. So see if there's not other tabs behind tabs that are open, because it's usually tabs open. That's 99% of the time on our bandwidth.
Okay, yeah, there's one or two more. I just want to.
And if they're files that are pretty big,
yeah, there was one hide. There's a few hiding, so let me get those. And that
because you were freezing up too. And as soon as we do a little maintenance, thank you for having our patience. We'll be back to continue. So tell us, like, from all of a sudden 40 to 50 charts to, doing the hundreds and seeing some great income. Did that open up your eyes to the potential of working faster and more efficient, that enabled you to kind of see a vision of helping others do the same?
Pete, hope you can hear me, but absolutely. That was absolutely the driving force in us understanding that there was more to be, researched there. Even so much so, I quit my job to work full time with Jasmine doing the charts as well. So, and it was like 20,000 charts in there. So we understood that it didn't take a ton of brain power to get it done, right? And if we could double our efforts, we could, increase the income. And so it didn't last forever, but with the income we made, we knew that we needed to reinvest in ourselves. We knew we needed to reinvest into others. We knew that this had helped us tremendously, too good to true. So we did more research, and then we understood that we need to bring this to the community. We need others to know, because medical billing and coding was a very well kept secret. If you knew, you knew, but most people that I had spoke to had really never heard of medical billing and coding. And so we knew there was an opportunity to become, experts in that industry And so we decided to start this. Was that it was a shortage of medical billers and coders in the industry across the
Mm-hmm.
board. Hospitals were writing off tens of millions of dollars that they would lose because they didn't have enough personnel to look
Mm-hmm.
at these claims. One, we understood an opportunity to diversify people that look like us involved in something like this. And so for, a few of those reasons, we knew it would, increase economic development. It would increase through this education and certification that was national, that you could use this certification, live in Atlanta, and work anywhere in the country. And that in itself was so mind-blowing, because usually when you would search for employment, you would have to look in a 20-30 mile radius at the largest, because there was just how employment worked. So working from home was new in itself. And so yes, we didn't want to start there. We decided that we can't just get them education and training. We also
Let me ask you this, Daryl.
got to help with employment, and that's how iCode Healthcare Solutions was birthed.
On that journey, there's always growth and there's always personal development.
So
what was that? What did that look like for y'all in a growing business that you kind of stumbled on it but saw an opportunity? You very seldom stay the same. You have to keep growing. What was y'all's plan to personally grow as you were growing iCode Academy? Yeah, I think for some reason we're freezing, Daryl. I don't know if you can. We really have some audio challenges. For some reason, we're definitely. I can see you right now. You're still freezing up. So you might have some charts open or something, because we're definitely freezing, and it's hard for our audience to be able to listen, because you'll say
yeah,
something.
I've checked. I have nothing else open but this right now.
Why don't we let's do something on the fly, because I want our audience to hear more of your story. Why don't we stop? I'll reset. You reset your computer, like turn it off, turn it back on, let the cache, let everything work. Make sure nothing's open. I'll send you another link and we'll start the podcast if you're open for that. Because I think the trouble with audio is if somebody can't hear a good audio, they won't listen. And I want my community to hear from you. I want our community to, because I love the journey, because it's find a need and then help really bring that need to the workforce. And it's obvious y'all have done that. So let's do this. I have it. I'm going to go ahead and end, and then I'll set it up and I'll send you another link. And let's go ahead and give our community a better story from Daryl from an audio standpoint. Does that sound good?